Hello everyone. Today I am in my garden to share a very special book with you. This is a book of garden rhymes. So it's not like a normal story like we would usually read. Instead, it's a collection of different rhymes that have to do with the garden. So for today's lesson, we are going to read some of the rhymes. We're going to do some finger plays. We're going to hear some music, and we're going to make a craft. Are you ready? The first one is one of my favorites. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. And while I read the poem, I'm going to give you a job to do. Do you see Mary's pretty little flowers in a row? I want you to count how many flowers are in Mary's garden. Here we go. We're going to start real close. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Did you count how many flowers were in a row in Mary's garden? Let's see if you were right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She has 7 smiling flowers in her garden. The next one is one of my favorites. Here is the Beehive. I'm going to read it once and show you the picture from the book, and then I have a special game we're going to play. Here is the Beehive, but where are the bees? Hiding inside where nobody sees. Soon they come creeping out of the hive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look what I have to go with our story. A beehive. All right, and you can do this with me at home by making a fist with your own hand like your beehive. So here's my beehive. Your beehive will look more like this. All right, say it with me. Here is the beehive, but where are the bees? Hiding inside where nobody sees. Soon they come creeping out of the hive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bzzz. Let's try that again. I love this one. Make your beehive. Here is the beehive, but where are the bees? Hiding inside where nobody sees. Soon they come creeping out of the hive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bzzz. And then we like to make our bees buzz all around. That was a fun one. All right. Next we have one about a cherry tree. It's called I Had a Little Cherry Stone. I had a little cherry stone and put it in the ground. And when next year I went to look, a tiny shoot I found. The shoot grew upwards day by day and soon became a tree. I picked the rosy cherries then and ate them with my tea. And we have a finger play that we're going to do for this song. Make a tight fist. That is like your cherry stone. A cherry stone is just another name for a cherry seed. Sometimes they call it a stone because it's hard like a stone. If you've ever bitten into a cherry, you may have bit into the cherry seed and it felt like a stone. So here we go. I had a little cherry stone and put it in the ground. So make a hole with your other hand and put the cherry stone in the hole. When next year I went to look, a tiny shoot I found. So take your finger and make it come up out of the ground. A tiny shoot I found. Now we're going to take both of our hands. The shoot grew upwards day by day and soon became a tree. I picked the rosy cherries then and ate them with my tea. Let's do that one again. Get your tiny cherry stone. I had a little cherry stone and put it in the ground. And when next year I went to look, a tiny shoot I found. The shoot grew upwards day by day and soon became a tree. I picked the rosy cherries then and ate them with my tea. Our next rhyme is the cutest one in the book. Are you ready for cuteness? It's called 5 Little Peas. Look how cute at their little faces. And I have a special pea pod that we are going to use for this rhyme. So I'm going to put the book down and we're going to do the rhyme with my pea pod. Do you see the pea poking out? 5 little peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. 4 little peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. Were you ready for it that time? 3 little peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. 2 little peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. I think I hit my camera that time. 1 little pea in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew and grew like all the rest. It grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. And that was our pea pod rhyme. That's a really fun one. You can play that rhyme at home. If you have a little ball, this is a ping pong ball, but if you have any kind of little golf ball or other little balls, you can just play it with your hand. You can pretend you've got 5 pea pods and you can just go, 5 little peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, so did all the rest. They grew and did not stop until one day the pod went pop. That is such a fun game. For our next rhyme, we have a song. I'm going to show you the pictures first. This is called Lavender Blue, and there are the pictures of the lavender plants. And there's a king and a queen, and we're going to hear about them in our song. I'm going to play our song today on this instrument. Do you know what this instrument is? It kind of looks like a guitar, but it's smaller. This is a ukulele, and it's kind of like a cousin to the guitar. So it's similar to a guitar, but it's a little smaller. And here's our Lavender Blue song. Lavender blue, dilly dilly, lavender green. When I am king, dilly dilly, you'll be my queen. Some to cut hay, dilly dilly, some to sow corn, while you and I, dilly dilly, keep ourselves warm. Lavender blue, dilly dilly, lavender green. When I am king, dilly dilly, you'll be my queen. I love that song. All right, I have one more poem to share with you, and for this one we're going to make a craft. So I'm going to talk about the craft first and give you a chance to go get anything you need to make the craft. Then we'll read the rhyme and we'll build the craft. We are going to make a 3-dimensional picture of a daffodil today. This last one is about a daffodil. So here are the things you need to make this craft if you would like to make one at home. A cupcake wrapper. If you have yellow, that's great because the song is called Yellow, Yellow Daffodil. But it can be any color. I've actually seen pink daffodils before. Sometimes they're almost white, so any color will work. But you need a cupcake wrapper. And then if you have a piece of paper that's the same color as your cupcake wrapper, get that. And if it's not the same color, you can get white paper and just color it. So you need those two things. Then you need one piece of paper to be your background. Either a green crayon or marker, or a piece of green string, or I have like a wiki stick, which is like a sticky string. And then you'll just need scissors and glue. So if you want to take a moment and pause the video, you can go and get your cupcake wrapper and a piece of paper the same color, another piece of paper for your background, a green string or a crayon or marker that's green, scissors, and glue. And I'll see you back here in just a few minutes. All right, are you ready for our daffodil rhyme? This one is actually called Daffodil Song. Look at those beautiful bright colors. My garden had so many daffodils in it about a month ago, but daffodils are gone now. I always love daffodils. Not only are they sunny and bright and happy, but they're also one of the first signs of spring. When you see those daffodils poking up through the cold, hard ground of winter, you know that spring is on the way. And here is our daffodil song. Yellow, yellow daffodil, dancing in the sun. Oh, yellow, yellow daffodil, you tell me spring has come. I can hear a bluebird sing and hear a robin call. But yellow, yellow daffodil, I love you most of all. Let's make our yellow daffodil. First, you're going to start with a piece of paper that's the same color as your cupcake wrapper. And draw a shape that looks kind of like this, like flower petals. They can be pointy, it's okay if they're a little round. It doesn't have to look just like mine. If you look at flowers in nature, they're not all exactly alike. Sometimes they're a little different. So draw your shape of your petals, and then we're going to cut them out with our scissors. These are going to be the beautiful yellow petals of our daffodil. Do you have daffodils growing in your yard at home? If so, you would have seen them at spring. Sometimes they come up right around Easter time. That's another thing we see around Easter. We know spring is coming and the daffodils are here. And you know what I love about daffodils? They are a kind of a flower called a perennial. That's a big fancy word that means they are coming back every year. Once you plant your daffodils, you don't have to plant them every spring. They just come back all on their own every single year. And that is awesome. Okay, so now we have our daffodil petals. We are going to glue them onto our background page. And you want to do it somewhat, a little bit near the top so you have room to make your stem. So go ahead and get your glue stick, and we're going to glue the daffodil onto our paper. Do you hear that sound? There is a big truck across the road. You might even recognize that sound. Do you know what kind of truck that is? Listen. You hear the beeping and the big ka-chunk. Well, that is a garbage truck. And it is across the street right now, and it just picked up one of those huge brown metal dumpsters, lifted it up, dumped it in the back, and put it back down again. So that's why it was so loud. All right, we have our daffodil on our paper. The next thing we're gonna do is put the cupcake wrapper in the middle, like that. I love the shape of daffodils. Sometimes I feel like they almost look like teacups. Like you could just use that little cup in the middle and have a little sip of tea. So make a dot of glue in the middle of your flower petals and stick the cupcake wrapper right in the middle. And then you've got a daffodil. The last part is to give it a stem. Now, if you have a green crayon or marker, you can just draw a stem coming down. If you have a piece of green yarn or string, you can put a strip of glue and glue that. I have a wiki stick, which is like a piece of string that is also sticky, so I don't have to put glue on it. All I have to do is press that on my paper and it will stick. Just like that. And there's my daffodil. Now let's sing our daffodil song one more time and hold up our daffodils. Yellow, yellow daffodil, dancing in the sun. Oh, yellow, yellow daffodil, you tell me spring has come. I can hear the bluebirds sing and hear a robin call. But yellow, yellow daffodil, I love you most of all. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you had fun with our garden rhymes, and I look forward to seeing you next time.